Welcome into the Subconscious Mind Mastery Podcast. Thomas Miller on our Sunday series here, being released on September 10th, 2023 in real time. You might be catching this in 2033, and welcome just as much. You know, I thought just before I hit the button here, may this time be blessed. I'm really excited about this little talk that we're going to have, and the intention behind it is that it may be blessed indeed for you. It certainly nourished my soul as I was putting it together. The thought here is waiting, because we're in retrograde season as this is being recorded, and we have 6 planets in retrograde as this is being recorded. Even if you don't follow astrology, you're probably familiar with the concept. Retrograde is when a planet in the sky appears to be going backwards and in the chart. So if you were watching a planet and you were marking it according to its position relative to some telephone pole or something out in your yard, you would notice that the planet has slowed down. It's not moving as fast relative to that pole. And then finally it looks like it's going backwards for a while, and then it resumes forward motion again. The symbolism in astrology is when it goes in retrograde, it's a time for us to do rewords, review, reassess, repair, recreate, etc. You pick your own theme of what might be going on in your life. But to have 6 in retrograde at the same time and for an extended period of time is seems like the brakes are on the whole planet. I did a retrograde review this past week on Fun Astrology, and in coming up with that, was reminded that all of the outer planets, from basically Jupiter beyond, all go in retrograde every year, and they're in retrograde for some of them 4 to 5 months out of the year. So in other words, in the natural rhythm of the universe, there is a rhythm of rest. So how can we rest well? My mind went to an old verse, an old friend back from the Bible days, Isaiah 40:31. But those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. There's a reword. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not become faint. I thought about that in the context of my high school-aged ears hearing that verse and thought, well, yeah, that all sounds great, right? Who wants to fly like eagles and run and not get tired? But wait a minute. Is that really what it's saying? So I went to the Hebrew and I looked up the word that is used, and it's actually one word in Hebrew that takes care of the phrase wait upon the Lord, wait upon those who wait upon. So the context of that word is very clearly waiting upon, as though you would wait upon an airplane. That long time between ordering and receiving your food, waiting upon, waiting for. I saw one website that said, don't wait for God. Wait upon God, as in serving God. And I thought, well, that's good, but it's not what the Hebrew says, so we better go all the way back and at least know what kind of meaning we're really talking about here. Yeah, this is talking about being in a restaurant with slow service. It's like, come on, right? But then I got to thinking, this isn't an astrology-themed podcast, but, I'm the dude here with the sun and Mars at the same degree in Scorpio. So it's like, okay, when you have your Mars on sun, you don't wait well. It doesn't refresh you. You don't mount up with any wings. You get impatient. You get testy. You get, what's going on here? And wait a minute, what? Retrograde until when? End of January? You've got to be kidding me. Action, action, action. Isn't that what our whole culture is based on, in the United States at least, is action? We don't wait very well. I think you guys in Europe and Australia and whatnot do better than we do. We're like too impatient. Oh, you Americans. So I looked at this verse with different eyes today, and I thought, really? So waiting gives you that? No. But there's this very clear spiritual theme of waiting. And then I thought of the verse in Luke chapter 21, where the disciples were asking Jesus about the signs of the times, the signs of the end. And Jesus told them, he said, listen to the Fun Astrology podcast. He did. It's right here. Luke chapter 21, verse 25. He said, there will be signs in the sun, moon, and the stars. Well, where do we dissect the signs in the sky but on the Fun Astrology podcast every day? So it's like, well, there you go. I think that's in the Greek somewhere, but I didn't look it up. But I did look up a couple of other things that I thought were really cool. I wanted to go to other texts. So first I started looking around for some things in the Bhagavad Gita, and I found just a general overview. I was like, wow, this was really cool. It was somebody that was summarizing the Bhagavad Gita, and the three main points that they took away from the Bhagavad Gita were that living life, doing what you and I are destined to do, brings peace, while the opposite brings pain and insecurity. Wow. We'll elaborate on this in a second. The next point was find meaning in the journey and let go of constant anticipation. See how these fit together so well? And number 3, meditation can help us master our thoughts and regain our focus. So one of the things that's foundational in these Hindu texts is the concept of Dharma, and that's basically just being on our own path. So the author of this article pulled 3 lessons, and the first one was that we all have our Dharma to fulfill if we want to know joy and peace. Well, now I'm starting to connect what this verse in Isaiah is really all about. It's stopping to make sure that our path is straight. And that's the deal today. When do we slow down enough to have these times to reflect? And I would take it a step further. How many of us are afraid to look in that closet? Busyness is a great way to not have to look inside. So what this is saying is that we all have our own path. And that's the other thing. Is social media and all the distractions that are inherent today get us focused on other people's paths. I mean, think about what typical social media posts do. They bring you into someone else's world. What do movies and TV shows do? Do they bring you into the simple nature of your own reality? They bring you into another story out there somewhere. Right now, as this is being recorded, the world is mourning the loss of one of our favorite entertainers. The parrot head himself, Jimmy Buffett, died in the past week. And I was doing a little bit of mindless chilling the other day, and an interview of him popped up. It was with Steve Croft from 60 Minutes. And he said in there a line that, I captured it because it was so good. Now think about, this is cheeseburgers in paradise and living in Margaritaville. And this was part of the conversation now where the whole empire had been created and built and successful, and Jimmy Buffett became a billionaire off of that song. And he said, I don't know what happened, but we just captured escapism really well. I was like, Neptune, first of all, and that's it. He became a billionaire helping people escape this very topic right here. Opening the door of the closets of your life and seeing if you're on your path. Because if you ever went to a Jimmy Buffett concert, you know that it's the best place in the world to get you out of your own reality. What this is saying is that we all have this Dharma to fulfill. And these times of rest, these natural rhythms of rest, this waiting on the Lord is the time to make sure that we are aligned with that path. And that's why I'm so thankful for all of you, because you stop by here on Sunday mornings to have a few minutes to see if you're on the path. The second lesson from this article I found was to work on your temperament, and they said this, and enjoy the journey. There we go. See, this is why I was so excited about today's lesson. Jesus said to listen to the Fun Astrology podcast, and this author says enjoy the journey. What else is there? But see, to me, this says that if you work on your temperament, in other words, if you square up during the retrograde processes, if you do the rework, if you reevaluate, reassess, take a look, know where you are inside, am I on my path? Yes. And then your highest timeline, your highest thing to do right now is to rest. Enjoy the movie. Enjoy the TV show. Go to the concert and have a blast, knowing that your feet are on the path. But if we go to escape the path, that's the difference. And then the third, and we'll do this here just shortly, is through meditating in all kinds of ways, is the way to align our mind, body, and spirit on that path. Let me read you these 2 sentences from this little article. The person who can master themselves and control their thoughts can conquer anything. As long as you keep your happiness in your mind, you can learn how to expand, use, feel, and embrace it for as long as you want. Meditating can also help you target efforts more easily and keep your spirit focused on its Dharma. And then, just to hit the big 3, and I'm not talking about your sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm talking about the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Tao Te Ching. I went to chapter 15. The last couple of lines of chapter 15 are awesome. Basically, it's talking about the ancient masters having found the path. And these last couple of lines say, do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving until the right action arises by itself? It was like, wow, that's waiting on the Lord. That's renewing your strength. That's mounting up with wings like eagles. This other translation said this, he who holds on to the way, the Dharma, seeks no excess. Since he lacks excess, he can grow old in no need to be renewed. In other words, you get up here to the upper end of life's timeline and you look back and you realize you lived your Dharma. You lived your chart. You lived your life well because you focused on it. You found the rhythm of rest. Let's do a meditation together to lock this in. I love this. Big exhale. Focus on the area of your shoulders and neck from a standpoint of releasing the tension that's there now. Just let it work itself out. Let's do a real soft Om together. Do what you can to just rest. And honor yourself by thinking for a second about your own path, not others, not your friends, spouse, kids, etc. Just yours. What is something you could release, reword, so that you could renew your strength? Another reword. Or maybe just finding the rhythm of rest. Another reword. Do you have the patience to wait until the mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving until the right action arises by itself? Isn't that being connected truly to the all that is? Go inside now and explore what it looks like for you to rest versus taking action. What are you going to do with this retrograde period for the rest of this year? Resist or release? Here are some sounds to enjoy while you meditate on that. Thank you for being with us today and enjoy the journey.